Hello?
Hey, yo, Cutter, what up, man?
What's up, APT? What's going on?
Yo, man, I got a problem.
What's that?
I got these two girls I'm seeing, right?
Uh-huh.
They're both just so good to me. I can't decide which one I should be with.
Man, I'm going through the same thing, man. I got two girls that'll do anything for me.
Oh, boy.
It might sound crazy, baby, believe me. Got two hot ladies, they both loving me. And I gotta choose one, man, I can't choose one. But I gotta choose one, man, I can't choose one. Yo, I gotta choose one, man, I can't choose one. I can't have them both, so I gotta choose one. Yo, I got a hot chick living on the north side. I got a hot chick living on the south side. I got a problem cause I can't tell who to choose. They both seem like they both down to ride or die. My north side chick love to cook a brother grub. My south side chick love to give me back rubs. My north side chick down to pay your brother's tab. My south side chick always down for touch and grab. My north side chick knows how to ride the stick. My south side chick love to drive me in the whip. My north side chick loves to get all freaky. Yeah. My south side chick loves to get all freaky. Woo! They both like dress up and don't give a crap if their hair gets messed up. This is my confession. I'm just about ready to settle down, but I can't decide who I'm supposed to choose now. Oh! It might sound crazy, baby, believe me. Got two hot ladies, they both loving me. And I gotta choose one, man, I can't choose one. But I gotta choose one, man, I can't choose one. Yo, I gotta choose one, man, I can't choose one. I can't have them both, so I gotta choose one. Oh!
I got a hot chick living on the east side. I got a hot chick living on the west side. I got an issue, I don't know who to choose. They like me and I like them both too. My east side chick is a white girl. My west side chick is a black girl. My east side chick likes to have sex. My west side girl got some big breasts. My east side chick freaky as she wanna be. My west side chick always protecting me. My east side chick take away all my stress. My west side chick, she don't take no mess. They both so mature, they both so gorgeous. I like both of them cause they not boring. But let me slow it down, I can only choose one. I can't have them both, so I gotta pick one. It might sound crazy, baby, believe me. Got two hot ladies, they both loving me. I gotta choose one, man, I can't choose one. But I gotta choose one, man, I can't choose one. Yo, I gotta choose one, man, I can't choose one. I can't have them both, so I gotta choose one.
Hey yo, I tried to be a player, but the truth is, a brother never ever been this ruthless. And if they ever find out I would do this, I'd probably end up with a broken jaw, toothless. Ow.
I used to do the same thing a long time ago, but it's time for me to let that player stuff go. Cause I got two hot girls just to choose from. Yo, how you gonna decide which one to lose, son?
Man, both girls got different stuff about in my life, but I gotta dump one tonight, cause it just seems right.
I know what you mean, I want both girls in my life, but it would be wrong to have two girls for a wife.
Oh man, what are we supposed to do?
When you got two good girls, how do you choose?
I don't know, it shouldn't be as hard as this.
And if we choose the wrong one,
we'll all be pissed. Oh! It might sound crazy, baby, believe me. Got two hot ladies, they both loving me. And I gotta choose one, man, I can't choose one. But I gotta choose one, man, I can't choose one. Yo, I gotta choose one, man, I can't choose one. I can't have them both, so I gotta choose one. Oh! Hey, Big T!
Carter.
Yeah. We're gonna have to dump one of them, man.
I know, man, it's gonna be hard, y'all.
Well, I don't know. You figure out who you gonna get rid of.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have to have my conversation on this side, man.
Alright, man. I hate to be the heartbreaker, though.
I'll call you tomorrow, see what's up.
That sounds good. Take care, man.
Alright. Peace.
Jones in the house, my love's in the house. Uncle Jones in the house, my love's in the house.
I said VOTE on November 3, Biden and Harris, cause that on Trump weak. Yeah, I'm voting for Biden and Harris. Mail-in ballot or the polls for Biden and Harris. Gotta save the nation's soul with Biden and Harris. Joseph Biden is the next in charge, taking back that White House yard. Kamala Harris is his running mate, fighting back against QAnon. They go low, but we go high. Look at his record, look at her drive. Boost the morale, close the divide. This country is hurt, Biden's your guy. Trump don't cheat, ain't no surprise. Killing the post office from the inside. He trying to stop your big fat vote so we can keep telling lies. What a team, it's a dream. Make me wanna shout and scream. Pence and Trump, so obscene. But Joe and Kamala, so fresh and so clean.
Gotta be H&B, vote on November 3. Don't stay home for my years of the lunacy. I do not wanna do it, I'm about to lose my sanity. But Joe is so boring. Oh really? Well that's cool with me. Statesmanship, they both drift. Climate change, gonna get that fixed. Military budget, gonna get more change. The troops ain't gotta worry about it, ain't thing. Donate your cash or your time for Biden and Harris. You bout to die, stay alive. Vote Biden and Harris, so love the nation. Who gon' save it? Vote Biden and Harris. If you want change, send your vote and vote Biden and Harris.
Look, we need a straight shooter, we need a case closer, we need to free from jail all the weed smokers. We need Trump fired cause he's mediocre. With Republicans, they gon' reach over. If you in college and earning your credits, they'll take your loan, lower your payments. Got a small business, well, they're trying to help it. All of the farmers, they'll be well protected. They won't take your guns or leave you broke. Joe and Kamala, bringing back hope. They're going to hunt down a new cure for corona and not treat this thing like a hoax. Their campaign's on fire, they move about calmly while Trump has no focus. He moves like a zombie, he's racist like the cops in Wisconsin. And let's not forget he supported the Nazis.
Kamala, she a boss chick, aka BP pick little girls, they can dream it. Teaming up with Joe, give us something to believe in. About to be a fight, Trump and Pence take a beating. The White House, Joe's the one we needin'. Been up in there once, he's a proven leader. Big P stands for presidential, making good decisions and he's got credentials. Donald tried man, but he can't hang. His response to Rona caused death and pain. Got non-believers making grave visits. If you don't believe me, ask Herman Cain.
Yeah, I'm voting for Biden and Harris. Mail-in ballot or the polls for Biden and Harris. Gotta save the nation's soul with Biden and Harris. Get back on top, gotta swap for Biden and Harris. Mike Pence and Donald, they both flop. Vote Biden and Harris. I'm talking va, va, va. That's Biden and Harris. This confetti's gonna stop with Biden and Harris. Yeah.
Uncle Joe's in the house, Kamala's in the house. Uncle Joe's in the house, Kamala's in the house. Uncle Joe's in the house, Kamala's in the house.
It's the Introvert Dating Success Podcast, the show for introverted men that's all about learning how to attract beautiful women and still get your precious alone time. And now, here's your host, dating coach and fellow introvert, Harry Wilmington.
We're going to be answering a question from a guy on Reddit that wants to know, is it worth asking a girl out again after they made some plans and for whatever reason she had to take a rain check? And I think the way that he went about the situation is important to talk about because there's ways in which you ask women out and ways in which they can reject you. That could mean a rejection that says, I don't want to see you again, a rejection that says I'm legitimately busy, or a rejection that says I'm only kind of feeling you. And how you handle that and also how you set up your dates in general will really help determine like what that situation is. And then the bigger part we're going to answer today is a guy wrote in wanting to know basically about this girl he's been seeing, whereby things have been going for the most part on his end pretty good, but she brought up this thing about saying, well, you know, I'm the kind of girl that might end up hurting you. And I really want to talk about the importance of listening to people's words when they tell them to you and whether or not you should believe them or if change can be made in that person. Okay. So we got a lot of ground to cover. If you're watching this live on other various streams, go to protestparty.tv to join the live chat. And you can also get your questions answered. I look in there, you can talk with other people and I occasionally reach in there and answer questions as well. If you're looking for more of these shows, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. If you're looking to get one-on-one coaching, you can also check out some of my ebooks at the website. And of course, this show is all about you all. So if you have a topic you'd like me to discuss on one of these shows, go to introvertdatingsuccess.com, click on the contact tab, and send me a message. And I'll be sure to have that be a topic that I discuss on one of these shows. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into this first question, which I think is a very great question. And it's the title of the post that this person put up is called, Is It Worth Asking Her Out Again? So what I'll do is I'll go through the message and I'll stop at various points to explain things and break things down and give you my take on what this guy should have done or should be doing. So it goes a little something like this. He says, I had what seemed like a great first date with this girl on Thursday. Besides having a lot in common and good conversation, towards the end of the date, we were cuddling by a fire. I don't know how this guy got near a fire. This must have been like a beach date or a bonfire thing of some kind, but that's pretty awesome. I don't know if the fire was outside or if it was inside, but either way, he was able to make it happen. Kudos to this guy for getting that far on the first date, okay? Throughout the date, she hinted how we should hang out again and play video games or how she wants to meet my cat. By the end of the date, I even gave her a kiss and she said she'd like to hang out again. So far, this guy's doing all the right things. For one, she's coming to him saying, oh, we should hang out again. We should play video games. She's already starting to propose future things they could do together. When a woman is speaking future speak, typically that means a very good thing. It means that she's starting to have an attraction to you and can be seeing you in some kind of future with her. Okay. Also, this is the kind of thing that'll happen if you as the guy are not verbally overtly expressive on these dates. So the fact that she's saying, I had a great time, we should hang out again, that means this guy was laid back and probably was not saying things like, oh, I want to see you again in the future and all stuff, which you would think should not be a bad thing, but it can come on as a little too heavy early on if you're the guy that is saying these things. So it's always better to hear it coming from her mouth so you can kind of get a gauge of where her emotional state is, where her feelings are at, and what level of attraction she currently has towards you. All right. So far, so good. On to the next paragraph. We had tentative plans to hang out tonight, but she told me her schedule is a bit wonky and she'd have to confirm. Okay. So, well, I'll finish this part. Earlier today, she asked if she could take a rain check. I pretty much told her along the lines, sure, although it would be great to see you again soon. Let me know when you're free. Her reply was simply, sure, smiley face. So we'll get into the canceling date part in a second, okay? But here's the thing. Notice how this guy set it up. He said, we had tentative plans. And this is a trap that a lot of guys fall into where they'll ask a woman out and she'll say, well, I do want to go, but I'm not completely sure yet of what's going on. Let me get back to you. And this will end up making you lose more dates than anything else, because if you are not setting definite dates, then what you're basically doing when you set a tentative date is saying, my schedule in life is so free, I'm willing to wait around in hopes that something will or will not happen. But women want to date guys that have their own life agenda going on and have their schedules. They know their schedule enough to where he's not going to be the guy that waits and says, well, I hope we have a date. I'll wait on you to get back to me to let me know. That's not coming from a position of strength. Okay. You always want to be mindful, that you want to come from a position of strength to show that you are a guy that is about making plans and then following through on those plans. And also you're not a guy that's going to be sitting around waiting for her. Okay. And so setting tentative plans is the worst thing you can do. So in this situation, here's how I believe this should have gone. Is this guy calls up and says, hey, I had a great time on our last date. I want to know if we can hang out tonight. Which, first of all, you should not be setting last minute plans. And early on in the dating process, you should very much be setting dates a minimum of a day in advance. So if you're hitting a girl up in the afternoon saying, hey, let's hang out tonight, for a girl that you've only been on one date with, more often than not, you're going to lose out. You're going to lose out to work. You're going to lose out to her hanging out with family and friends, or you might lose out to her just wanting to stay home and not go out. But either way, you're not giving her enough time to mentally prepare and also anticipate seeing you again. You want to set up that anticipation. That's going to help you immensely in terms of your ability to attract at a faster rate. So instead, you call her up and she says, oh, I don't know if I'm not sure about what my things are tonight. I'll let you know later. I would hit her back and say, you know what? I'd rather take you out on a night that's more definite. If tonight's kind of wishy-washy, what's a definite day that works for you? I'm free on these 2 days over here. Which one of these do you think would work better for your schedule? Or just let me know what your schedule is and we can work out something different. Okay. So that way you're not leaving her to feel like the bad guy later when she's got to hit you up and say, oh, I couldn't make it because of work. Like, you take that excuse out by not agreeing to set tentative plans in the first place. Always be a man that sets definite plans that you can stick to and that ideally she's going to stick to. But also with that said, if she was a person that says, I can't make it, I don't know, whatever for sure, most women that like you and are actively trying to date you and have a high interest will help you in scheduling. So this is a case where what the guy should have been looking for is her to say, well, I'm not sure, my schedule is a bit wonky for today, but I know I'm definitely free on this other day instead. That is what a woman that has high interest in you is going to do. She's going to help you by saying, this is the definite day that this can work out for me. If she's not doing that, it doesn't mean that she doesn't have high interest, and it doesn't necessarily mean that she's trained and been able to recognize that that's something she should be doing, but it does say something to like her level of interest in terms of how high it is might not be as high as you think it is. And that's something that has to be built up over time. So ideally though, for those first few dates, you're going to have it where you're able to set a definite date and she's going to accept it. Or if not, she'll mention other days that work. So continuing on, he says, I hate reading into things, but it seems like she's not into it anymore. It sucks because I was pretty into her and she seemed like she was into me. And again, this is one of those things where it could be a thing that she's lost interest after that one day, or it could be a number of things. It could be that she really was busy. It could be that she's not yet sure of her schedule, so she needs to really get back to you and make sure that what days that she has time to see you. And that's something you got to press her. You can say, okay, well, if this doesn't work for you, figure out your schedule and then get back to me. That way you're not waiting on her. I mean, you're waiting for her to get back to you on the schedule thing, but like ideally you're not going to be sitting there being like, well, whenever you decide you want to see me again, that's fine. That is also not a position of strength. Again, you're a guy that makes plans and makes decisions and you stick to them. So you gotta, if you want to see her, you gotta make sure that you're pushing, hey, let me know what day works for you and then get back to me. In the meantime, you do you shouldn't be having all your hopes and dreams off this one woman that you just met. Okay. While you're dating her and she's being flaky or whatever, or she's trying to decide whether she wants to see you or not, you should not be bothered by that because you should be seeing 4 or 5 other people anyway until you've gotten 3 or 4 months down the line with any one of these choices that you have. That way you're not so hung up on whether or not this particular person gets back to you. And I have found in situations like this where the woman's kind of like, oh, I'm not sure, I'll get back to you, and I'm dating 3 or 4 other people and I just stop worrying about her altogether, it might be like a few days to a week or so, but she'll never really get back to me. Hey, are you still on the map? Like, what's going on? Are we still going to go out? And that's because I'm not coming to her from a position of need. I'm coming to her from a position of where I'm very, very much indifferent to whether she's the particular girl that I go out with or not. And when you operate in that mode, then you're going to find you're going to get more callbacks and more women that are hitting you up for definite dates versus ones that are like, he'll be around whenever. I'll just get back to him whenever I decide to. And if I flake, it's no big deal. I can always set up another day. That's the impression you give when you set up tentative plans and then agree to just wait around for her. Okay. He says, is there any hope left in this? My brain is telling me to just let it go, but my gut is telling me to give it a couple of days and then hit her up again. And yeah, this is the thing too. Like, you hit her up and you said, hey, you want to do this thing. She said she couldn't make it. And then you said the thing about it would be great to see her again. And by the way, she already knows that because you hit her up asking for a second date. So that's not something you have to say to let her really get it. Like I've said before, women are very intuitive. They know the intensity of like you have for them when you're asking them out. Okay. But with that said, this is one of those situations where if you're not sure where she's at with you or what she's feeling, it is nothing wrong with hitting her up a second time. So you always want to give it 2 tries. You asked her out the first time, she canceled the plans and said, can I get a rain check? Sure, no problem. At this point, you wait a week. You wait a week because 1, you want to see if she's going to hit you up, in which case now the thing is incoming. And as I always say, if she's chasing you, she can't be replacing you. And also, if you have to wait a week and she still doesn't hit you back up, that's going to allow you to really read where her level of like for you is at. Now, at that point, I still think you should try to ask her out because ultimately you need to be able to feel that rejection on a definite level to make sure that emphatically that she does not want to go out with you. Or you might be surprised and she might say, oh, I really had a busy old week, but I'm so glad that you hit me up again. Yes, let's go out. Either way, you give it 2 tries. So that second try, you hit her up a week later and say, hey, so you don't even bring up the last time you asked her out. Don't even mention the fact that she hadn't hit you back or whatever, but you hit her up and say, hey, I found this great restaurant spot in town, or I found this movie I want to go to. Would love to take you with me. Let me know what your schedule is looking like this week and we can put something together. And then that's it. You send that text and then you wait. If she texts you back that she wants to go, great. If she texts you back some excuse, it means that she's not that interested. If she doesn't text you back at all, then she's ghosted you and she's really not interested. But either way, at that point, you'll have your true answer. So don't feel completely butthurt now that she wasn't able to make this particular date. Things do come up, and sometimes you just got to wait to see what's going to be when you decide to hit her up a second time. After that second time, now there's a pattern of her either not getting back to you or being flaky, at which point you know what it is, and you just got to suck it up and move on to the next. Okay. Very, very simple in terms of dealing with women who seemingly are flaking on you or trying to give you these whole, rainy check things or whatever. All right. So that is the first question that I read. And then there were some other ones I was going to read. And as I do my research today, I came across this one. And this one was like, oh my God, this is the thing that I really want to talk about, because a lot of guys come up across these women in their dating. And I'm sure you have too, whereby you're dating somebody and on your end of things, you're like, things are going great. She seems like a really nice woman. Things are going well. And then out of left field, she comes out of something like, well, just so you know, like I either like, I don't know how I feel about getting into a relationship, or I've hurt other guys in the past, or I've been abused, or, I always end up going psycho on my previous boyfriends. And you're sitting there like, but I haven't seen that side of her yet. And she's bringing this out. What do I do? So this is a guy that went through the same situation, and I want to talk about that. So let's see what this guy's message says. So the title of this message is, after making out, she advised me to run and get far away from her. And I'm just going to say it right away, like, the fact that that's the title of this thing and that's what she said, that is already red flag all over the place. Like, you really want to start paying attention to what women are telling you, because a lot of guys like to ignore that. And I know I've said on this show before that ultimately a woman's actions are going to speak louder than her words. And sometimes women will say stuff to test you or because they're feeling a certain way in the moment, but that might not be how they really are. But there are certain things that are really big red flag things that they say that you need to be like, oh crap. Like if a woman says like, oh yeah, me and my family, we don't ever get along. And I almost like fought my brother one time and almost stabbed him with a knife. That is a situation that you want to pay attention to with words, because that could be you. If you're not careful, that could be you getting chased by the knife with the girl that you're dating. But anyway, let's go into this guy's message to see specifically what he is talking about. So it goes a little something like this. He says, there's this girl, 23 years old, that I've been seeing for more than a month now. And we got on together really well and kissed on multiple occasions. So far, so good. I made it clear that I like her, and she did too, but I always knew. And she told me multiple times that she wasn't searching for a relationship at this stage of her life. Pause. So this came about because, as I've said on the show before, when you express your like for a woman too early on and she's not quite there yet, and he said that she expressed it too, but chances are if he said it first, she felt obligated to say early on in less than a month's time, oh yeah, I like you. And this is why I tell you guys, you need to stop having to get verbal validation from women that indicate how they feel. Okay. If you are asking a woman out and she's saying yes, and it happens more than once and she's not flaking, there's a good chance she probably likes you. Like, she's most likely at that point, if she's going on 3 or 4 good dates with you, at that point, she's not going out with you just to waste time. That's the thing that, like, if a woman's doing that early on, but she's not feeling you after like the second or third date, she's kind of like, oh, she starts making those excuses, because a woman that feels an ick factor for you, like she's just like, oh, this guy's just icky. She can't keep faking that she wants to be around you for that long before being like, I need to find any excuse I can to not see this guy. This is when you start getting excuses like in the last message where it's like, oh, I got busy. Oh, I need a rain check. And then every time you ask her out, it's like, oh, my dog died. Oh, I had a girl tell me one time that her uncle died. And I was actually like flying into town to see her. And she was like, oh, my uncle died, so we can't hang out this weekend. Oh my God. And how am I going to be able to check that? Like, there's no death certificate. There's no pictures of her from the funeral. Like, how do I know that? All I know is that there's an excuse that was brought up. So again, I said to say that if she doesn't like you, she will find excuses of any kind, small or big, to get you out of her good graces. So the fact that this was not happening meant that there was no need for him to express verbally that he liked her, because she gets it by the fact that he's asking her out. Okay. But so anyway, so that's why she said the thing about she wasn't searching for a relationship, because when guys verbalize their feelings, women now feel obligated to say, whoa, like, I'm not looking for a relationship. Like, I may have met you on a dating app, or we may have like gone out on things that look like dates, but oh God, that I don't want a relationship, because you're bringing on the topic of that way too soon by verbally expressing your feelings. So you won't get these kind of reactions if you're not bringing it up. And when you don't bring it up, she's going to think that when you get into a relationship, it's her idea, which is the best vantage point for you to be at. Anyway, continuing on, he says, so she wasn't searching for a relationship at this stage of her life, and I respected her decision, and we agreed to keep hanging out with no expectations or commitment, which is what she wanted in the first place. Women, when they start dating you early on, they just want a guy that's just going with the flow, is fun. He's not expecting too much of her. And when you are giving the impression that you're expecting a relationship early on, that's what you're doing. You're pushing on these expectations, which is huge pressure for women because after a few dates, they don't know if you're going to be the end all be all guy that they like. So when you start bringing out feelings and relationship things and what are we's, that's now pushing her towards something that she hasn't naturally built to yet. So you got to let them build up. Okay. So when he agreed to the no expectations or commitments, that put her back in a place of, okay, now I can keep hanging out with this guy, ironically, because he doesn't need me to be his end all be all. He says, we've always shared great moments together and had lots of fun and laughs every time we hung out. And that's what it's all about, is having fun, hooking up, having a great time together, repeat. So he says, however, a few days ago, I was at her place and things escalated pretty quickly. And we ended up making out in her apartment and slept together afterwards. So let's recap. He tells her that he likes her. She says, yo, I like you too, but like, I'm not looking for a relationship. I don't want things to get serious right away. And his response is, you know what? I'll agree for no expectations, no commitment. As soon as he put out there that there's no pressure for her to have to do anything that's relationship wise, what does she do? Agrees to sleep with them, which for most people is a big step towards getting towards a relationship. Not always, because you can just hook up and have sex for fun, but that is also a major thing that says, I'm so comfortable being around you because you're not making me feel weird or making me feel like I have to commit, that now I'm freely willing to give myself to you as because I want to do it and also as a reward for you for not pushing that agenda. Okay. So we got to that point. They've slept together. It's been awesome. However, the morning after that night, we were talking and having breakfast together, and she jokingly said that I should get as far as possible away from her and to run away because she always hurts the people around her unintentionally. So now we're getting into the basics of what I'm talking about, which is this. Okay. So they have sex and they're talking. Now, he doesn't say specifically all the details of their conversation, but the fact that she's saying jokingly that he should get as far away as possible, I'm guessing somebody, and I'm guessing the guy, but I'm not sure, but there was probably something that was brought up about the idea of a relationship or being together beyond sex. And this is what a lot of guys do, is like after that sex moment passes, now a lot of times guys who are, and yourself, guy, most guys, even though there's this myth that guys just want to have sex for fun and don't want to have leads to anything. Most guys, if they're having sex, they're doing it because they're hoping that it's going to make the girl fall enough for them to want to be in a relationship. Okay. So what most guys will do, and I've seen this time and time again on these forums and the messages that I get from other guys personally, is that they'll have sex with the girl. And right after they hook up, now they're like, oh, so like now that we had sex, like, does this mean we're going to be in a relationship? Like, are we officially together? What are we? And you know how guys feel, how I feel, guys, about you being the ones to bring up the what are we conversation. Big, fat, no. So don't feel bad. And this is from years of training. Guys, we feel bad because we feel like if we just have sex with a girl and don't automatically turn it into a relationship, that we are now jerks. We are now bad guys. We are now hurting the girl that we just had sex with. And the only way to make things right is to say we want a relationship. And guy, I can attest after years and years of dating and hooking up that is far from the case. Okay. Most women, when you have sex with them, they enjoy the experience. And if it's really good, they're going to want to do it again. But that does not mean they're at the point yet where they're ready to officially make you the boyfriend and you and her be your girlfriend. Okay. So stop feeling guilty. Stop feeling guilty that you're having sex and not turning it into anything right away, because she's not having sex with you and saying, so now that we've had sex, like we should, X, Y, and Z, and we should really like be together and, put our Facebook statuses as a couple and blah, blah. Like, no, they're still doing their due diligence. They're still saying, okay, even though the sex was great and it's only a month in, I still need some more time to go through the process of really finding out this guy. This sex that we just had is now just part of the finding out process, but this does not mean that I'm there yet to want to be in a relationship, because she's not going to you with those questions that women ask when they're ready. Okay. So anyway, so then she said, get as far away as possible because she hurts people. So this is a part where her baggage is now slipping out. And I think a lot of guys, when they hear women talk and say things, like I said earlier, they kind of want to be like, well, it's going to be different with me. Like she's saying she's hurt guys before, but she seems like such a nice person. And we've been going out for a month and she's been treating me right so far. So there is no way that she'd turn into a person that would want to hurt me. Guy, she can turn into a person that will hurt you. And she's verbalizing this now because she has done it before. And she's done it before with guys who early on thought the same thing you thought, which is, she's not going to hurt me. I'm me. I'm great. Why would she want to hurt me? But the reality is, it's not about you. It could very well be about her messed up past. It could be about previous baggage she has from her childhood. It could be how her family's acting in terms of, like, a lot of women come from families where their parents yelled at each other all the time, or they come from divorce situations where the parents are always fighting with each other, and then that causes drama. And now as she grows up, she learns to equate love with drama. Therefore, she's going to be creating drama with you, because she's going to feel like if she doesn't, that you don't love her enough, or that she doesn't like you enough. So when she's saying this, she is saying to you out loud, I have a history of hurting people. You could be next. Now, with that said, does that mean you don't see the woman? Well, if it were me, I'd say you probably should steer clear from that altogether. But what this is also indicating is that she doesn't need a guy around her that is going to be overly lovey-dovey and be around her all the time and constantly showing her love. Because although I do believe her that she has hurt people in the past, and that is definitely a thing you want to listen out for, because she says she always hurts people unintentionally. And so what that could also mean is that she dates these guys who come on too strong, and she's not quite there yet. So then they start getting hurt feelings because, oh, she's not saying I love you. She's not verbally expressing herself. She's not, trying to see me every day of the week. And those guys get butt hurt. And I've met a lot of guys and talked to a lot of guys like that, where they're like, well, why doesn't she want to see me? I just saw her yesterday and she doesn't want to see me today. And me being the introvert that I am, I'm like, what's the problem? Like, girls that I see on average, I see 2, maybe 3 times a week when I'm actively in a relationship with them. When I'm just dating them, I'm seeing them once, maybe twice a week. So you got to really iron out, like, you got to really dive deep. So when a woman tells you some stuff like this is when you put your detective hat on, boop, and you say, okay, so what does that mean? When you say you unintentionally hurt people, how in the past have you unintentionally hurt somebody? Give me an example of a guy that you unintentionally hurt. How did you do it? What was the process? What were you doing? What was his reaction? Why was this a way that you considered yourself hurting him? Like, if she's gonna spout this crap at you, really dig deep into what this crap actually means, because you don't want to be the guy that's going to assume what that means, or assume that this situation is different and that you can change this if only you knew how to do certain things, or talk to her a certain way, or give her certain books or whatever. Okay. So you got to do your due diligence and ask those questions, because otherwise you're going to be left in the dark and you're going to make the wrong decisions and the wrong assumptions. Continuing on, he says, she told me afterwards that if I don't get far from her, that she will do it instead. So now she's playing hardball. And now, again, these are all red flags flashing. But with that said, there are some guys out there that will date a girl like this and hear these things and still be like, but I want to try my best to date her because she's so good. The sex is so great. I don't get along this great with anybody else I've ever met. And so if you're going to do that, then the best way forward is to be as detached as possible, because meaning this woman is not one that is on solid ground, and she could very easily bolt at any moment. This is the kind of woman that you could be sleeping with her and taking out on dates and having a good time. And it goes from like one day you're talking to her and having a great time with her, and then the next day blocks you on phone, on social media. You can't find her anywhere. She's suddenly gone. Okay. And that I've had that happen before, and that is some emotional turmoil I would not recommend for anybody. Yes, it is ghosting. So if you are going to date somebody like this, understand you got to be prepared to be like, this girl could go at any minute. So just be prepared. But in the meantime, you got to have that thought, but also the thought of being detached. Meaning, if this happens, you got to be ready to just let that ride off your back and just be able to go on to the next person. Okay. And if you have your mindset set at that, then what's going to happen is that as you date her and you start to see things, you'll keep an open mind to if this is a situation that you want to stay in. But also, if she starts getting flaky or wishy-washy, you can just be like, okay, this is what she talked about. So time to get those apps open again and start looking up new women, or time to go out there to the with the pandemic, so you can't go to clubs, but like going to restaurants or going to stores and meeting new women, because it is what it is. But don't tie your emotions to this having to work out. And that's true really for any woman you date. Don't ever tie your emotional stability to whether or not you're able to keep a woman around. You want to be a guy who's able to create his own happiness, regardless of if a woman's in his life or not. Because if you can't, what's going to happen is you're going to have other people, especially these women that you're dating, dictate how you feel about yourself. And then when they go haywire, you're going to go haywire. When they're happy, you're going to be happy. But then when they're sad and mad, you're going to equate that to you, and you're going to be sad and mad as well. And that does not lead for a healthy lifestyle. Ideally, as an introvert, you're already used to being able to make your own happiness and not have to worry too much about that. But for those of you that are introverts, but also very much people oriented and want to like befriend people and really like have them be your world, this is a situation and a problem that you need to really figure out, because you don't need to have anybody determining what your happiness level is going to be. Anyway, continuing on, she said after discussing more, she said that she's been only once in a serious relationship that ended really bad for her, and that still haunts her to this day, as if she feels trapped in her past. Since then, she found it hard to get serious with a guy again. Every time a guy confesses that he likes her, she abruptly stops all connections with that guy and refuses to go out on a date, and makes it clear she likes him as a friend only. So there's a lot to break down here. So let's first start off with the fact that she says she's been only in a relationship one time, and that's not a problem. If he's 23, she's probably around the same age. There's this girl 23 years old, so she's 23. So at that point in a girl's life, she hasn't really had a whole lot of situations where she's had major relationships, because a lot of women, they'll get into like a relationship at the beginning of their college years and then be with that throughout the 4 years of their college. That happens regularly. That's fine. So there's nothing wrong with that part. The part where says she says that she's unsure what situation. Oh, here we go. That she found it hard to get serious with the guy again or whatever. The relationship ended really, really bad for her, and it still haunts her to this day. Again, that's where you got to get detailed, because you need to know the details of what that exactly was. So you say, okay, well, I know you probably don't want to go back into this, but like how did that affect you? Like, when you say it ended really badly, what exactly does that mean? What are the specifics of that? Like, was there a big argument at the end? Did you leave him? Did he leave you? And if so, like, what was the situation? Did he cheat on you? Or did he just leave you like a note one day? Did he just go ghost on you? Like, you don't know, but it's important for you to find out so you can get some better clarification about this whole thing. Okay. Because a lot of times women will still say that, a relationship ended badly, even if they're the ones that ended it. So you still don't know the story really of how this ended. You can make the assumption, oh, it must have been the guy's fault, but that happens all the time. And then you find out later that it actually wasn't true, that she ended it, but she just it could have been like, oh, she ended it, but then he decided to just right away start dating one of her best friends. And that's why it was so bad when it ended. Like, you don't know, but figure that out so you can at least get a grip on what's really going on. Then from there, she says she found it hard to get serious again with the guy. And then she said, think about every time a guy confesses that he likes her, she abruptly stops. So I'd say, so there's two things here. One, that should be a warning to this guy of why he doesn't want to get too verbally emoting feelings to her too soon, because she's saying, when guys tell me that they like me, I get scared and I run away. That's what she said. At the same time, though, we see early on in the message that he said that I made it clear I liked her, and she's still around. Okay. So subconsciously, this is her way of telling this guy almost like, most guys that tell me that they like me, I go ghost. But she hasn't gone ghost to this guy. So he, in a small way, is the exception to the rule. Now, that does not mean that this guy should now start being extra verbal, like, oh, well, but she didn't leave me, so I can just keep saying it because this must mean she likes me because she's saying that she left those other guys, but not me. No. She's still saying that she doesn't like that crap. She's just saying you happen to be a guy she likes more, so you're still around, but there's still a chance that she could head for the hills if you start being more this way. Like, she was able to curtail it by saying, hey, no expectations, no commitment, and you agreed, so you're still good, but don't come back to that, okay? So she says all that, and then she says she's still unsure if she wants a relationship with me, and told me I shouldn't be waiting to find out because she might hurt me and waste my time. So right now she's saying, this is how I've hurt guys in the past, is that they've asked me for a commitment, I wasn't sure, and they got butthurt, okay? So, but the fact that this even came up, that means that he probably asked, so do you want a relationship with me? And it's too early. What do I tell you guys on the show time and time again? 3 months, 90 days. You have 3 months to be a free man with a girl that's going to date you and still give you time to date other people. Why are you fighting this? Don't be so in a hurry and in a rush to get into a relationship, okay? Because the thing is, this is what happens. You're going to ask too early on. She's going to say, well, I'm not sure. Of course she's not sure. She hasn't had 3 months to figure out her feelings about you, okay? So stop asking. But with that said, she said, I shouldn't be waiting to find out because she might get hurt or whatever. I asked her what her emotions towards me were. Oh my God. Just every freaking time, man. Stop asking women how they feel about you. Again, actions. If you're asking her out and she's saying yes to the dates, you're good. That's all you need to know. Save the verbal stuff for when she starts coming to you saying things like, hey, so what are we? Hey, so I want to know where your head's at. Hey, I had a girl one time come to me and say, hey, so how do you feel about having titles? And it was like 2.5 months in. That let me know. We're at that talking point now. But I waited it out, and just, again, if I'm showing up and she keeps asking dates, you're good. I keep saying this to you guys, but guys just keep messing up and keeps doing this crap. And I'm just like, you don't have to verbally say anything. You don't need to ask. Have more confidence that if she's saying yes to dates, it means she likes you, okay? I'm sorry. It's just so frustrating. I read this on almost every message now, and I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing it too, but just stop it, guys. Just please stop it. Okay. I asked her what were emotions towards me, and she said, I don't know exactly what it is yet. Duh, it's only month 1. I jokingly said at the end that, so this guy's response was great. Even though he asked some BS questions, this is where he got really good. He says, I jokingly said at the end that you will never see me again, but she got a little nervous and said, no, I want to keep talking to you. So when he said that response, what happened in her head? Up to this point, they're having a conversation that is leaning towards seriousness. It's indicating, we got to get serious. Oh man, we got to start like talking about relationship stuff. And he's going there and he's asking me emotions and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, he says, oh, well, you may never see me again. Haha, just joking, whatever. But in her head, she's now like, oh, wait, like he's not affected. Like if I decide to leave, he's just going to be like, it is what it is. He'll go in his own happy way and be himself and he'll find somebody else. But do I really want that? And so now it's making it her choice to want to keep him around. So this is what happens when you give somebody the freedom of choice to be able to choose whether or not you're going to be in her presence. Okay. So by him almost jokingly taking it off the table, like, hey, we ain't got to be around. Just if you don't need to see me anymore, then hey, have a nice life. It's been great getting to know you. I'm out the door, and I'll make sure the door doesn't hit me on the way out. Even though it was joking, it's still giving her the signal that he's not as attached to the outcome as she thought that he once was. And so when you're able to show that, this is when you're able to kind of turn that around. Now, again, I say this all with the initial thing that I said, which is she said early on she could hurt this guy. And these are things that I said you need to be listening to early on, because these are major red flags. And when people verbalize this particular kind of stuff, you want to listen to them and or get your brain prepared for, if I'm dating this person, things could go haywire. If you're ready to be prepared for that drama, then go ahead and do it. I, as an introvert, don't like to waste my energy on women that are saying stuff like this or that are acting out these kinds of dramas in person. So I just typically tend to be out and know that there's other women waiting in the wings. But hey, you do you. I'm just telling you how it is. All right. Continuing on, we spent the whole day after together at her place, and we'd kissed a few times. And when I left, we hugged, and she told me she had spent a nice day with me, which is great. And I suggested to her a book that I once read and told her that it will be of good use for her situation. Okay, so this is another thing that guys like to do, because as a guy, we typically tend to be problem solvers. We see people that have problems. We start thinking in their brain things that we can either do for them or give to them that are going to help them out. And for friends of yours and for family members of yours, that is absolutely the right thing to do. But for women that you are just dating, who are bringing these kind of situations to you or airing out, I've been a dramatic person in the past, or I've dealt with relationship drama, or I have trust issues, or I have anxiety. A lot of you are going to feel like, oh man, she's doing this thing, but I have the perfect solution, or I know a source that I can give her that's going to help her out. Let me come in and put my cape on and be Captain Save 'em and make sure that she's able to get out of this hole. So she's going to feel better and be able to date me, and she's going to thank me for helping her out. Guy, that is going to lose you more women than you can possibly imagine. I see G. Hill saying, do not save them. Absolutely. If you guys need to be listening to these rap songs back in the day said, don't save them, or Captain Save them, you know what, and you shouldn't be out there trying to save these ladies. There's some truth to all of that, because the reality is, if a woman is a certain way in a certain situation and she has not taken the steps to fix it herself, it means that there's a part of her that has a comfort level at being in that situation. It is not your job to fix it. Okay. So what this guy did, he's like, I'm gonna give her this book that she can read to help her feel better and blah, 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 blah. Wrong move, brah. Shouldn't do that. No, because she's a grown ass woman. She's 23. If she wanted to read those kind of books, guess what? She can do the work herself. She can go to the library, go to the bookstore, find the book. She can go to therapy and start talking these issues out if she wants to solve them. And if she did, she would have done that by now, because she's 23. But you coming along and you're going to push her into that, you could try, but the probability of you being able to come into her life and push this agenda to get her to feel better about herself so that way she can date you the right way is very slim to none. Like, And it's I heard this quote times like it's slim to none and slim just died. Like it's such a hard agenda. And again, you're an introvert guy. Do you really want to put this much work towards a woman who has all these anxiety issues and these trust issues and blah blah blah? And I know you feel sorry for her. I've been in the same boat where I was dating a girl and it's like or I wanted to date a girl and I was like, if she just got past these problems and I can tell her, I can, give my advice about how to help her and what she should be doing. And you should like read this book and go to this seminar and see this article online that I found for you. You cannot push people into wanting to fix themselves. And that's the thing that a lot of guys do, especially a lot of introverted guys who are like, we're analyzing all day. So now you're trying to analyze her problem and do the research for her that she should be doing to fix herself. That is not your job. So again, this guy, I appreciate what he's trying to do, but that is not what you should be doing. You should really just be like, that's a situation where if she says all this stuff to you, again, be detached. And detachment means not trying to help her with the problem. So when, at the end, you hug her, you say she had a good time, you say, okay, great, whatever. I'll talk to you later. And you leave. You don't give her a book. You don't tell her, oh, by the way, here's how you can better help yourself with this situation you're going through. Because you seem like you're kind of going through some things. Like if she wanted that from you, she would ask and say, hey, by the way, what books can I read to help me with this? If she's not coming to you asking that specifically, you ain't got to touch it. Like again, and the early months of dating are supposed to just be fun anyway. That's the thing where if you were in a relationship and you were talking about this, maybe then you'd want to bring it up. But I also think that you should be, when you go into relationships with people, or even just when you're dating them, you look at them and you see them as they are. And you make this a choice to accept them as they are or not. So if you're seeing this woman and she has all these problems and your first thought is, I can fix that, get out. Because as she is right now, this isn't going to be fixed overnight and you can't do that. So you got to either accept her with her flaws and all right now, or say, you know what, I really like her, but I need somebody that has a better head on their shoulders, that's not so anxious, and I got to be out. And trust me, guys, I've dated those women that have been anxious, that have been unsure of themselves, that have had low self-esteem, that have had body issues. And despite how great of a guy I am and how great my resources were, I could not get them to change. Can you imagine? I couldn't get them to change who they were. By the age of 23, she's pretty much how she's going to be. And unless she's actively focused on doing that work, guy, you're not going to be able to do anything. I'm sorry to say it to you guys that may be disillusioned by that idea. I think you're so great. You are great. It just means she has some stuff going on. You can't fix that. Continuing on, let's see. So after the book thing, he says, now we'll still be meeting a couple of times per week because she asked me to help her in the gym and I agreed. Now, this part's kind of tricky because I'm not sure if that means that they're going to just be seeing each other in the gym. Ideally, he's seeing her in the gym still, but also they're still going to be going on dates and stuff because you don't want to get into this thing where you're in a relationship where you're just kind of helping a woman all the time. Like, oh, I help her with the gym. I help her put stuff up in her apartment. I help her with like her car stuff, because now you're becoming the help friend and that can really get you closer to the friend zone than you want to get. Okay. This is still ideally something building towards a relationship, meaning you want to still be doing relationship things beyond just helping her. So you're not going to, I mean, the gym thing is great if that's where you guys met or that's what you've been helping her with in the first place, but you really want to make sure that you've established that you're still going out on actual dates. And that might mean, you only see her once a week at the gym and then once a week for a date, because you don't want to double up on the gym and then try to double up on a date. That's like 4 times a week now. And that's going to cause burnout really, really fast. Okay. So if she has to go to the gym by herself, that's also an option. Be like, hey, I really like you. I think we should just all be seeing each other when we're going on actual dates. But, if you're a guy that works out and she likes to work out, there's nothing wrong with that. But you should be saying, hey, let's go to the gym and then afterwards go get some food, or let's go to the gym and then go to my place afterwards and have some hangout fun time. But don't just make it, I'm seeing her at the gym now, and that's what I agreed to because that's going to allow me to stay in her good graces. Like if you're just agreeing to a certain program to just keep her around, but you're not getting the actual benefits that you want, or it's not building towards the things that you want out of this other person in terms of a relationship, a hookup or whatever, then don't agree to it. And so many guys fall for this trap where they agree to become like almost a woman's personal manservant, where they're doing everything for her, but being able to get inside of her. And that's your agenda when you first met up with her. It's not to become her help guy, because she has plenty of friend buddy help guys right now that are also chomping at the bit to be with her on a physical level and aren't getting that. So that's not what you want to do. I see a question in the chat says, how close to the friend zone would you want to go? The answer is you don't. You meet up with somebody and especially for guys, like we see women and the goal is to get with them in a relationship capacity or in a hookup capacity. That's pretty much it. All these extra thirds and fourths of like, oh, or possibly just a friend. at a certain age, guy, you should really not be looking for any more women friends. Like, unless you happen to have a job where you have coworkers that happen to be women, you as a grown ass man should not actively be out there trying to meet women to befriend them. Like, that's not your MO. Your MO is you're looking for a woman to hook up with and possibly get in a relationship with. If she decides to change the name of the program, that does not mean you have to go along with the program. And it's actually more in your benefit to not do that. Okay. Continuing on, he says, what intrigues me is that she always told me her stories of all the guys that liked her and that she refused to go out on a date or kiss them, and that she's more of a conservative girl. And here I am, clearly different from the other guys she met, but also in this awkward position where we're getting really intimate and seeing each other regularly, even though she told me to run away and she's afraid of hurting me. Okay, so I want you to understand, guy, that just because a woman tells you about her dating past or how she is in previous relationships, that does not mean that that's always true. More often than not, they're either lying to you or they're leaving certain things out about those previous encounters because they know that guys' egos can only handle so much. And the reality is that if she were to tell you, oh, these last few guys that I dated, I kissed and made out with them a lot and we banged a few times and it was awesome. And I banged this one guy out in the forest and it was amazing. She knows you don't want to hear that. And she also knows that women can typically tell how you view women, or more importantly, how you judge women. So women can tell if you're going to judge a woman based on if she's a loose type of girl who's had a lot of sex, or even saying like that, like, oh, like I'm loose because I had a lot of sex, or a girl that's like had less sex and has really held back. So if she's able to look at you and say, okay, based on what I can get from him, he's going to lean towards girls that are more conservative. Some girls will just make it look like they were conservative. Oh, I've only had one or two people inside me. Oh, I've only been on this kind of date. I've barely even kissed a girl before. And they're going to give you that impression because they're going to try to do that in an attempt to win you over. This does not mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's false, but it doesn't mean it's completely true. So this is an example of when women tell you these things, you got to be like, okay, but if this thing weren't true, would it bug me? So in this example, if she told you that she's really conservative and she's only had sex with a couple of people and that she barely kisses guys, if that were not a true statement, would it bug you? Same thing with the other thing. If she says that, oh, like I hurt people and, all sorts of stuff, that could very well be true, or it could not be true. She could be saying that in an attempt to try to test you, to say, like, if I tell him that I'm a woman that hurts people and, has had guys in the past that I really hurt and ran off, how will he react? And that could be a test to see how you react. And so if the opposite of that were true, would you be mad that she lied to you about that? You got to decide these things early on. But also understand that, again, just because she says she's a certain type of girl doesn't mean she is. Also, the opposite of that is also true, which is just because she's telling you I've only gotten with certain kind of guys doesn't mean that she doesn't like a guy like you. Like this guy says, oh, I'm different from these other guys. And she says she doesn't do X, Y, and Z, but I'm getting really intimate with her and doing some other stuff. It could just be that you're the guy that finally did it for her. You turned her on. I've dated girls before that said like, and again, me knowing that if this is a lie, I got to be cool with it. But I've dated women that were like, that have said things like, without my prompting, that have been like, my last relationship, it was just really, really bad. And I wasn't really that sexually driven, but being with you, like we do it all the time. Cause I just find you so sexually desirable. So I can't then be like, but how she was in the past was with how she really was. And why is it different with me? And blah, blah. Like, why would I be mad at a girl that's giving me more sex than the previous guy she dated? If that's true. Like, and that's the thing, guys get in their head about like, well, this exact thing that she said about herself isn't true. Therefore, I'm going to be mad. Women are going to do that all the time. Like a lot of times women are talking and they're talking from an emotional standpoint, whereby if things feel true, then to them it is true, even if factually it's not true. So that's why you got to learn to erase and not really hear most words that they're saying, except for in instances where they're saying things like, oh, I've run off guys and I've possibly tried to stab or kill them, or I've almost went to jail for certain things. These are things that are big enough to where it's like, oh, she could be lying, but that's a really hard lie and story to come up with. Okay. But for a lot of these little things like this, just be like, you got to be like, almost like it didn't even happen. You didn't even hear it. Just like, okay, words coming off. You got to just understand how, for whatever reason, she wants to confess to me these things about being conservative and not kissing all these other guys. It could be true. It could be not. I just can't carry the way. I just know that she's with me now and I'm going to see how she treats me. And that's really the best way to take it. So you won't get so worried about when she's saying things, but then it seems like other things are true instead. Okay. But still look out for like the big lies and look out for things that are, you want to look for, if she's consistently putting out incongruencies, that's when there's going to be a really big problem about whether or not you can trust her in the long run. Okay. So yeah, I want to see your opinion on this. What should I do in this kind of situation? Ultimately, guy, like I said, you really want to just, you're hearing what she's saying. You should, as the guy, always be holding back on verbally expressing yourself. So that's a big thing. And she's already told you several times now, this is not the way to attract her. So listen to her and recognize that if she's ready for those conversations with you about relationships and feelings, let her be the one to come to you. As I've said time and time again on the show, if you're asking them out, she's saying yes, she's not being flaky, and you're having regular sex, you're good. Don't need more than that until it gets time to have the relationship conversation, which she will bring up, okay? And I don't understand these guys that are like, we've been dating for 5 months and I still don't know what we are. And I'm like, are you still asking her out? Yes. Is she still not flaking on dates? Yes. Are you still having sex? Yes. What's the problem? You're looking for a title. Oh my God, if I don't get the title, it must mean she's out with these other guys, blah, 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 blah. And it means you still have opportunity to date other women. Again, what's the freaking problem? So get over it, guys, and just go with the flow. Continue to ask her out on dates. Make sure that she's accepting the dates, and make sure you're looking out for those inconsistencies if they show up. And very, very important, make sure that you're not going to be freaked out if she suddenly goes ghost. If you're going to try to date this kind of woman who has said that she's hurted guys in the past and that she's gone ghost them or whatever, then you know what? You got to be ready for that to fly one way or the other. But again, you got to learn to be indifferent either way. If she decides to fly the coop, you got to be ready with your phone apps, and to start doing that smart digital dating again. Plug, and you can learn about how to do smart digital dating from me, Harry Wilmington, by going to smartdigitaldating.com/enroll and checking out the Smart Digital Dating Program, which gives you the complete A through Z on how to set up your profile, create a bio, and send messages that attract women to have that first date. Yes. Okay. But anyway, so that's all I got for you guys today. So thank you so much for tuning into today's show. For more of these shows, go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. Also join us over at protestparty.tv every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to get in on the chat stream. And of course, if you have a topic that you'd like discussed on one of these shows, write to me at harrywilmington@gmail.com, or you can always go to the website and click on the contact tab. While you're at the website, be sure to click on the tip jar tab if you want to leave a little something for liking this content. You can also check out my ebooks that are over there. You can check out the various programs that I have to offer. Just a lot of good stuff over at introvertdatingsuccess.com. I'm Harry Wilmington, and I'll catch you guys on the next show. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Introvert Dating Success Podcast. Visit us at introvertdatingsuccess.com for more great tips on attracting women using your natural introvert charm. Oh, yeah.
Joe's in the house, my love's in the house. Uncle Joe's in the house, my love's in the house.
I said VOTE on November 3, Biden and Harris, cause that Donald Trump weak. Yeah, I'm voting for Biden and Harris. Mail-in ballot or the polls for Biden and Harris. Gotta save the nation's soul with Biden and Harris. Joseph Biden is the next in charge, taking back that White House yard. Kamala Harris is his running mate, fighting back against QAnon. They go low, but we go high. Look at his record, look at her drive. Boost the morale, close the divide. This country is hurt, Biden's your guy. Trump don't cheat, ain't no surprise. Killing the post office from the inside. He trying to stop your big fat vote so we can keep telling lies. What a team, it's a dream. Make me wanna shout and scream. Pence and Trump, so obscene. But Joe and Kamala, so fresh and so clean.
Gotta be H&B, vote on November 3. Don't stay home for more years of the lunacy. I do not want to do it, I'm about to lose my sanity. But Joe is so boring. Oh, really? Well, that's cool with me. Statesmanship, they both grip. Climate change, gonna get that fixed. Military budget, gonna get more change. Trump saying, gotta worry about it, ain't thing. Donate your cash or your time for Biden and Harris. You about to die, stay alive. Vote Biden and Harris, so love the nation. Who gon' save it? Vote Biden and Harris. If you want change, send your vote in. Vote Biden and Harris.
Look, we need a straight shooter, we need a case closer, need to free from jail all the weed smokers. We need Trump fired cause he's mediocre. With Republicans, they gon' reach over. If you in college and earning your credits, they'll take your loan, lower your payments. Got a small business, well, they're trying to help it. All of the farmers, they'll be well protected. They won't take your guns or leave you broke. Joe and Kamala, bringing back hope. They're going to hunt down a new cure for corona and not treat this thing like a hoax. Their campaign's on fire, they move about calmly while Trump has no focus. He moves like a zombie, he's racist like the cops in Wisconsin. And let's not forget he supported the Nazis.
Kamala, she a boss chick, aka VP pick little girls, they can dream it. Teaming up with Joe, giving something to believe in. About to be a fight, Trump and Pence take a beating. The White House, Joe's the one we needin'. Been up in there once, he's a proven leader. Big P stands for presidential, making good decisions and he's got credentials. Donald tried, man, but he can't hang. His response to Rona caused death and pain. Got non-believers making grave visits. If you don't believe me, ask Herman Cain.
I'm voting for Biden and Harris. Mail-in ballot or the polls for Biden and Harris. Gotta save the nation's soul with Biden and Harris. Get back on top, gotta swap for Biden and Harris. Mike Pence and Donald, they both flop. Vote Biden and Harris. I'm talking bah, bah, bah. That's Biden and Harris. This Kofefi's gonna stop with Biden and Harris. Yeah.
Uncle Joe's in the house, come on, Lowe's in the house. Uncle Joe's in the house, come on, Lowe's in the house. Uncle Joe's in the house, come on, Lowe's in the house.